All right. We'll call this meeting to order this afternoon. Let the record show that all board members are present along with our superintendent and board attorney. And would you please stand for prayer and pledge for Ms. Agner?
Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us. Lord, we just ask now that you go with us through this meeting and that we, as always, we do what's honoring and pleasing to you. We pray your will be done in all of our decisions and that we thank you for the safety of our students and for the abilities that you give them each day and the teachers and the administrators that minister to them and teach them. We ask they have a great summer and we come back this next year like you would have us to be. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, this afternoon is the adoption of the agenda and the notice that there has been updated a couple of items. First of all, 9.01, number 2, has been added. That is for our athletic director is requesting to use the school bus on the 10th and the 12th of July for a camp at Warner University. Also removed from the agenda was item 12.16, number 2, and that was for an administrative assistance to finance director. So those two items have been some movement. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
All right, Ms. Mathis makes that motion. Ms. Carlton seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. The approval of our minutes on June the 11th, a legal meeting along with school board meeting and workshop.
Motion.
All right, Ms. Agner makes that motion. Ms. Mathis seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. Presentations and reports. I think we have presentation from Christy Anderson and Dan Anderson tonight. So would y'all like to come and share with us the report you have?
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is surviving this heat. I'm telling you, it's been hot. It feels like it's August or we're in the Sahara. I'm going to try to stay behind this podium. That's not my kind of thing, but Ron told me I had to so that everybody could hear. So we're here tonight to give you some updates on some upgrades to some security features at the Taylor County Middle School. If you've driven by, you've seen, as you see on the screen here, a security wall. Now, there's been a lot of interest from the community about the security wall. So that's what we're here to explain a little of why we did that. Our agenda tonight is going to be the need for the, see, I'm starting to move already. Need for the security wall and the construction of the security wall. Now, when it comes to the construction of the security wall, Mr. Anderson will step up for that. Florida Department of Safe Schools, in response to, so many active shootings, which are very sad events, they've made safety and security of schools, very important. Recently, new legislation has come down where all gates and doors must be locked. Now, we do have an exemption rule. Pam Brasby and myself, we toured 4 of the schools this week, and we put down all the exemptions of the doors and gates that needed that. We still have to get to Steinhatchee. Maybe we'll go to Roy's that day. But we have several gates. Like, think about the primary school where you go from one wing to another. You're going outside through the playground. Those doors will have to be exempt. Every door, we have to take a picture and upload it into the FSAT. So that's what we'll be doing. And Pam, I appreciate your help with that. Okay, topic 1, the need for the security wall. I'm sure you all remember in Uvalde what happened. That was a very sad day. What do you notice when you see this picture here? This is where the shooter went in to the school. What do you see there? What's kind of obvious? The door was unlocked, which should not have been, but there's hardly any fortification there to alleviate someone from going into the school. This is a map of the events that happened that day. If you'll see there, the shooter, he crashed his truck. He then walked to the school unnoticed. And from that point, what we're trying to do with the security wall is we're trying to fortify the middle school. This is Taylor County Elementary and Taylor County Primary. Now, what do you notice here about these two schools compared to the middle school?
Common areas are on the inside.
Exactly. They're very fortified. They're very what we call hardened. So these two schools, we're always going to worry about all of them, but these are much newer and they're safer, we feel, than the middle school. What school is this here you see?
That's the high school.
The middle school.
That's the middle school?
Yep.
Oh, look like the high school.
So I think the blue roofs, they all look the same.
Yeah.
But what you'll notice here, this was built in 1957. We didn't have to worry as much like we do now. So what do you notice here in the red circles, though?
Easy to get in.
Yep, that's our open areas. Now, we do have a fence, but as you know, like through the hurricane, we've got part of fences in places. They're easy to jump over, and those areas in the back are wide open. So that was the reason that, this next one here you'll see, since 2019, that's the documents that I have, but since 2019, all first responders each agency will come together and will walk each campus. Now, this is done every year. New legislation makes it possible to do that every 3 years. However, I think that's very important for us to do every year. Because what do these first responders, they're in different roles than us. So when they're looking at a campus, they're looking at they're in a different mind frame than we are, right, Pam? So they're going to let us know anything they see that we can upgrade and make more secure. So you'll see from 2019, every year, it's not been an issue with the state because, the state sees this all over Florida. However, our first responders, our number one and your number one thing that we want to do is keep the children, our students, and the staff safe. So what Superintendent Beshears, and I'm going to let Dan step up in just a moment, but, there are some naysayers, but this makes our schools safe. That's what we feel. And first responders feel the same. I'm going to let Dan come up for a few minutes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, topic 2 is construction and then funding. Okay, a precast concrete wall, as you can see here, is a great way to harden the perimeter around your school or your university. And we're not the only one that has done this. With one access to the school campus, traffic flow can more effectively be monitored and controlled, and schools can customize the look of the wall to be more appealing. It's being painted now, and so it's not going to be that gray color that makes it look like a penitentiary. It's going to be bright and have some blue and some light colors in it. Okay.
The kids might agree that it's a penitentiary.
Yeah. Well, the question was, were we building it to keep them in or to keep people out? And I guess it goes both ways. Okay, is a precedence for this. We're not the only one that's building a wall. Suwannee County has had a wall around their elementary school for 4 or 5 years. I went over and looked at it, and it's very similar to ours. It's an 8-foot wall that has gates built into it, and it's not a concrete wall, but it's made of a different material. But there is precedence, and this is a very a thing that you just about have to do, especially when you have a unique situation like we have at our middle school with all those opening spaces. Okay, go ahead. All right, the timeline for this research, when these things happen, they go, when you have a shooting, then these become high priority. And then a couple of years go and you don't have shooting, everybody forgets. Then everybody says, well, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? So this started, not long, we started researching this with Superintendent Bashir, started researching this, right near the end of the shooting in Texas. And we went over and looked at it, and she wanted to have something that was really secure, more than a fence or more than just a cover for a fence. It would be easy to break through, easy to shoot through, and so forth. And so we researched it, and we thought of two ideas. The first idea was, well, we'd have to build a block wall. Well, a block wall, you'd have to put a footer all the way around, and that would be very unattractive. And you'd have to pour concrete into the cells of the block. And so we began to think of something else. So went online and researched and found the permacast wall would be a good solution. And I looked up a company that had it, talked to them, and ran it through some more people, and we came up with that idea. And so we sent out the bids, and we had two companies that were interested in bidding in it, and they sent in bids, and that was Permacast. Both of them were Central Florida companies, and the winning bidder was Florida Wall Concepts. And the bids were very competitive. They were within 1.5% of each other. So we're very happy that felt like we got a very competitive bid. And so then we began construction just in April. And as you can see across there, they're starting to paint the wall. The wall is completed. Now there is another feature that's going into the walls, and that's going to be the gates. And you just can't, as you know, your gates are a very important product when it comes to security, and you just can't have any kind of gate. We're constantly going and repairing gates. Sometimes we repair the same ones 8 or 10 times during a year. So we don't want those type gates. So, we did spend some money for the gates, and those gates are being done by B&T Fencing out of Tallahassee. And we put some specs together from a very prominent security gate dealer, and we used their specs basically, or a combination of their specs and products, and came up with a very secure solution. And the completion of those gate system, they're in manufacturing now with B&T, and that'll be about 4 weeks of manufacturing. So they'll probably be installed sometime in August. And funding, we have $42,000 from Safe Schools, and then we have the rest of it's going to be funded through capital outlay funds. And I think it's a very good and needed project. And it's going to, you never want to go to bed at night and say, I didn't do all I could do to keep our children safe. And I think that's what we're doing here. We're doing all we can do now. Is there more areas that we could do? Yes, of course. But this is one of the most important areas, was this middle school, and it's being addressed in a good way. Misty?
I'm going to call, well, like Dan said, we're going to try to beautify this thing and let the students have some ownership to this. So I'm going to let Casey Roberts come up. She's the principal at the middle school. She's going to discuss some ideas.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. All right, so I do want to say first, about probably 15, 16 years ago, I taught on B wing, which is the very first wing. And I remember even back then, us discussing, Ms. Bashirs, Ms. Pule and I, even people discussing how we worried too, being on B wing and the windows being there and people just seeing, walk up, and we didn't even have a fence, I think, at one point until later. So the wall even going down B wing has made a lot of teachers feel a little bit better too about that. So with that, they've talked about the outside and the wall itself. Now on the inside, of course, the students have all don't care for the gray. They're all panicking. They're even, a couple of them even started drawing on it. So we've tried to come up with ideas. Miss Gray and I have even met and discussed some things. Just trying to make it pretty on the inside. I mean, a few things are letting grades or wings have a portion of it and, you know, painting on it of some sort. Now, I don't want to just let kids have a free for all because, you know, I love our children, but they're always not the most artistic on the walls.
I have some hanging plants that they can take care of.
There you go. We could do that. We talked about little things like Miss Gray had an idea of a fundraiser, or they do a handprint and they can put their name in their school year, they graduate on there, and like on the beams or something, just little stuff like that. We did the next slide. This is, if you've been on campus, the whole back by the lunchroom. We did this, I don't know, 8, 9,
2018.
at least years ago, however many years ago, it was when 5, really? Okay, well, never mind, 5 years ago. Feels like it's been longer. Anyways, those kids just graduated high school, actually, didn't they? We sold the pavers for the kids and they could paint them, and we did the whole area. I really want to do more of it, but we just haven't yet. But the kids enjoyed it and putting their little mark, and then those kids graduated this year. So it was kind of neat seeing all their stuff out there. So we have some ideas we're coming up with. I welcome any more ideas that we can come up with it, because it's obviously a long wall. And on the inside, especially when the kids have to look out there at it, you know, finding somebody that can put like TCMS on some of the inside somewhere, even on the outside. I'm not artistic, so if you know anybody that can paint, send them our way. If you have ideas, email me and let me know, because I welcome them. The kids would enjoy doing stuff too, so.
Could you explain to us too, like how what's different about the middle school campus as far as the hallways being open for people who
Well,
have not been
I
to
mean,
middle school?
Yeah, as you saw, the way the campus is, I mean, anybody can jump that fence right there and walk straight on campus, and we wouldn't know until it was technically too late. The things are open. We've talked about for a year or so, I know we've discussed different things of being able to close off at least this back area. And then now we're going to, you know, they're closing off everything, but everything is so open. The pub out there with a fence, I mean, those fences get you bent up so much, you could squeeze right through one.
So what's different about the middle school than say another school is when a student walks out of their classroom, they are literally outside?
You're literally outside. So we do, our teachers have to shut their doors. Yeah, I mean, I don't guess any other school's outside at all, is there? They're all enclosed in a hallway. So 4 of our wings are completely, when you open that door, you are completely outside. So it's nice knowing that we don't have to worry about somebody just pulling up and being able to jump a fence and get right there on the campus as quick. Because I will tell you, we'll run to it quickly if we even think somebody's back there. So. Questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you, Casey.
All right, this last picture is the partnership. You know, partnerships are very important in counties, in schools, health departments. You know, we have city fire, county fire, EMS, Taylor County Sheriff's Office, City of Perry Police. So I did ask them that they were unavailable for this picture. This is a sheriff's office. Sheriff's office supplies our SROs. Miss Pam's sitting here. So we want to thank our partners for, you know, they work harder than anybody for school safety. Pam, did you want to say anything?
I'll just say real quick, I've heard a lot of people, well, let me just say, good afternoon, I'm sorry, I'm being rude. Hope everybody's doing well. And I know that, you know, a few people have said, you know, the wall is ugly and they've had things to say about it. But I do want you guys to know, as the SRO at the middle school's my baby, so I'm being a little bit partial, but I feel so much better knowing that wall is there, just because, you know, the middle school was one of our more open schools, so we were the most vulnerable, I think, in Taylor County. And we all know, I hate to say it, it's not the fact that a matter of something happening. I mean, it's gonna happen. It's coming. I hope it's not anytime soon in any of our lifetime, but listen, they hitting these days and times is happening. So it makes me feel so much better knowing this wall is up. It's giving we can keep our kids safe. We want to keep the bad guys out. I think this wall will help with that. It'll be a little bit harder to penetrate the school, as far as if you had to jump in a fence won't be a big deal. It's gonna be a little bit harder to get over. You know what I mean? So like I said, as far as our kids being locked in, we have gates. So they'll be able to get out if there's an emergency inside the school and we need to get them out. There are gates in different areas that we can get the kids out. But keep in mind, when we do our drills and things at the middle school right now, up until this wall came, the kids were sitting ducks, really. If somebody wanted to do anything, they were just out in a fence area. That's it. So at least now, people from the outside don't know where our kids are if we're doing drills, or if they all had to evacuate outside. This wall provides safety. So I'm tickled pink about it. I would love to see it go up at other schools, but that's the safest that I'm thinking. Okay. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there an alarm on the gate if it comes open the wrong way?
Not right now.
None of these are gonna be, we have that
The high
at the
school.
high school.
Okay.
It's kind of like the middle school reminds me of our motel school. Like the hotel is the one you walk in to the lobby and all the rooms are inside. And then the motel, you pull right up and walk into the door. That's our motel school. So I, for one, am really glad to see that. It's worried us, I think, since Parkland happened and we started going through all the training for safe schools. And the middle school has definitely been the one that we've had to worry about the most.
Any other questions?
So, Dan, you had mentioned earlier, you said that this wall is being painted right now?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's gonna be on the outside that's getting painted?
I think it's gonna be painted,
Okay, so,
but you can still put pictures on
It's just like,
paint
kind of like the base coats.
okay, so what is the interest as far as doing anything other than that painting?
Just on the inside, the kids, I mean, they even mentioned, can we paint stuff, because it just looks, I guess, to them.
Yeah, I seen it and I mean, if we're gonna spend the money, I don't know if I'm interested in us doing anything different. But I mean, I guess that's discussion, so that's why I was just trying to understand it.
Repainted.
If you have some kids go out there and start doing their own thing,
Yeah,
that's going to be an issue, I'm sure.
The thing is, our kids are gonna go in and start doing stuff. I
Mhm.
mean, that's just a matter of
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
So we kind of
Be
give them
creative.
that section. I don't know, I mean, it is a discussion, we just gotta now.
I mean, it's for safety, so, I mean, I've seen different schools do different projects or whatever, and like you said, dedication or something, but I don't know, I like the top picture better than the other picture, just like freelance, and I don't know that kind of, you know.
But you also mentioned that that'll be what the kids are seeing, that they're all day long. So,
Well, hopefully they'll be engaged in their coursework, so they, you know.
I mean, in the classroom, they don't see the wall, because other than us, you're on B-Link.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
okay,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Dan.
All right, this brings us down to the items of interest by the public. If we have someone who'd like to address the board this evening, we just simply like to say that this is not a time to discuss personnel matters or specific allegations against a staff member or student. In fact, we as a board cannot discuss such in a public forum. And it's the responsibility of the superintendent to bring such matters to the board's attention at the appropriate time and place. But if you'd like to address the board this evening on some subject, this is your time, and we just simply ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. Do we have anyone? Yes, ma'am, come on.
Good afternoon. My name is Carrie Bowen. I actually have 2 children at Steenhatchee School, and I have an item that I've already spoken with Ms. Alicia about, but I wanted to bring attention to the entire board. So with the upcoming closure of Ruth Raines Middle School for the 24-25 school year, it's bringing considerable uncertainty to the rising 6th grade students of Steenhatchee. Those who had planned to attend Ruth Raines, which I know is in Dixie County, are now facing the prospect of either being placed in a potentially, overcrowded wing at Anderson Elementary, or if there's not space for them, even more so coming to Taylor County Middle School. So, and that's almost 40 miles from Steenhatchee, so that's a bit of a trek for 6th graders. And we also already know that we struggle with, the chronic absenteeism, the issue possibly worsen, making it harder for our children to get to their education for 6th grade with that closure. So we're reaching out to the Taylor County School Board to maybe take the immediate steps to add the 6th grade to the Steenhatchee School. We know we've had it in the past, and thereby alleviating some of the distress among the students and the families in the community. We're also very aware of the isolated schools funding max of 100 students, and we'd like the superintendent to reach out to the Department of Education to clarify if that does potentially include the 6th grade in that count, or maybe that wording could be kind of clarified to us. And then with that, if we could move forward, we'd love to explore what funding options we do have to add the 6th grade teacher, and along with that, possibly even a physical education teacher, because we don't have one at Steenhatchee School. So, any questions?
Okay. All right.
How many students do you have?
As of right now, I have talked to enough parents. We had 16 in our 5th grade class last year, and I've gotten confirmation from 13 students that they would stay in Steenhatchee School. And we've also created just a little petition, and in like 2 days, we have over 50 signatures. So we have a lot of support from the community down there wanting this to happen for our children if possible.
Okay. Well,
I appreciate
yeah,
you
this is something we.
believing in our district
Yeah.
for this. That's something we probably have to workshop and
Yeah.
get some answers.
Yes, that's what we're asking, is just to look into it. I don't know, Miss Alicia, if you've had a chance to reach out to the Department of Education.
I have, and I spoke to Chancellor Burns today, and he has, the gentleman that's over that particular thing, he's said he would get back to me, reach out to Mr. Burns last, I think we talked Friday, I believe, so it might have
Last week.
been yesterday. Anyway, so the other person who's calling will, who is over that is supposed to be calling me by tomorrow.
Oh, great.
And I received something, I think you put in a request with Senator Dunn, maybe. And so I received something from his letter saying that you all were interested in that. So I did receive that today and called, their office and responded to that. But yes, we would have to workshop this. So,
Okay.
and thank you for believing in Steenhatchee.
Who is Senator Dunn? You mean Congressman Dunn?
I'm saying
Oh,
Congressman Dunn. I'm
Congressman
sorry, I
Dunn.
misspoke.
Okay,
I misspoke.
all right,
I
okay.
misspoke.
I was about to say, we got a different senator. Okay.
Okay, so we'll try to, by superintendent, we'll try to set up a time when we can workshop this, ask questions, see what the possibilities are.
Yes, we really, really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else this evening that would like to address the board? Anybody? If not, then we will move on. Our consent items were approved by the adoption of the agenda. And this brings us down to item 9.04, which is an action item, a request from Gary Knowles, the clerk of court, for the school board to appoint 2 members to the Value Adjustment Board, 2024 Value Adjustment Board, and appoint 1 citizen representative. Once again, it comes our way.
Comes again, goes around. It does.
So what's the care of this board?
Bonnie, you and Jeannie served this past year, right?
I did. I don't know who else was with you.
I'm your alternate.
Okay.
You didn't need me.
Yeah. Hey, I was there, and I was there the year before.
Okay. So is there any board interest for appointment? Jeannie?
He said she would do it.
Jeannie, you're interested?
Jeannie will do it, yes.
Okay, well,
Will you be alternate
will do
between
it.
you two?
yeah, we can.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right, so, Ms.
Is there
Mathis?
any other interest for alternate?
Would anybody else like to serve on the?
But
Board of
I'll
Adjustment
serve.
Board?
I just was,
Well,
I was
you
open
were
the
li-
flow to nominate somebody if they was interested. And you volunteering me, but we'll go with Jeannie and me as an alternate. That's fine.
Okay, Ms. Mathis, as the representative, Ms. Donnell as the alternative,
Mhm.
alternative, no, that's alternate.
Alternate.
And then we have to get y'all have to find you
Last time we
Yeah.
did this, Deidre, it was me. I don't know if you remember or not, but I was the chair, value adjustment chair, and Deidre was my alternate. And she thought she still had to go to the meetings as an alternate.
the same thing with Brenda.
We need to make a motion on that, Ms. Ball.
Yes.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that Jeannie be the
Representative.
the number one, the designated, and then Deidre be the alternate.
okay, motion's been made.
I'll second
All
that.
right, Ms. Agner makes, Carlton makes the motion, Ms. Agner seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Now, this citizen representative, does anyone have any?
Who was it this last?
Miss Pat Patterson served
That's
this
right.
past time. So I can ask her again unless there's any other interest.
Okay, I mean, that's fine with me.
Anybody in the audience want to volunteer? We'll give you an opportunity.
What's a volunteer?
Angela, you interested?
Well, okay,
I saw that look.
well, I guess then let the record show that Ms. Donnell is going to try to.
I checked with Miss Patterson, and if not, maybe so we can come back to the table with some suggestions.
Okay, all righty. Anything else on this? If not, then this moves us down to item 12.05, the appointment or administrative personnel. Tonight, we have on the agenda the appointment of Lacey Monahan as Director of Finance, effective July the 1st, 2024.
Motion.
All right, Ms. Carlton makes that motion. All right, Ms. Agner seconds it. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried.
Congratulations,
description.
Lacey.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Now, got big shoes to fill, but I know you can. Okay.
But we have all the confidence in you. We know you got us.
Just get ready for questions.
Okay, item 12.16, job description approval, Supervisor of Food Service. This is a job description.
Motion.
All right, Ms. Mathis makes that motion. Ms. Agner seconds it. Any discussion?
I do. Do we have anyone that's going to meet that job? What do we do if we don't have someone apply that meets that job description?
You have to advertise it.
Well, all that you have to have right now is, it's very clear, so you have to have at least an AA with some other experience, so you just keep advertising it.
Okay.
What we do if nobody applies, I'll call Jefferson County because they had a situation like that too, and see, you know. how
So we
she
have an
handled it.
alternate
Is this,
plan if
different
something.
No, the plan is I'll call and see what she did. She,
is this different than our current?
Yes.
So we won't have our current person?
he retired.
Oh, gosh.
So,
I missed
and
that
what,
one.
and what has changed since then, you know, he was grandfathered in. So
Right,
whenever he was
right.
then, you know, you didn't have to have
Right. Mhm.
that degree. And now, through all the things that have happened through the years with FDA and it, you know, the audits and things there, they're putting those stricter requirements on there, so.
Okay.
But we've sent the word out. I've sent it out through, to Lori Wiggins as well. She's shared it with, UF. And so hopefully we
That's
have
good.
some people coming out with those. We'd like to get somebody with a food nutrition, dietitian, something like this, what we would like to have. Would be great, so.
Well, you got to have a job description where you know what you're looking
right.
at. Okay,
Kirk, is there going to be anyone serving in an interim basis or any?
Well, right now, we're okay until,
School start.
so when we just start advertising it, so.
Okay.
any other discussion?
I got one question.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
you're talking about reaching out to Jefferson, is there a
you know, we piggyback on a lot of things with the food services.
That would, yes, ma'am, that would be, I mean, we could see if we could, if somebody would be willing to do that, we could contract that out.
Okay.
If we don't have,
Okay.
if someone
Yeah.
doesn't come forward, we would have
Right.
to contract that
Right.
service out.
Okay.
So,
Okay. All right, anything else? If not, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. And this brings us down to item 15.01. And this is the approval of policy and authorization to advertise for a public hearing. And this evening, we're voting on the approval to advertise for a public hearing to rescind the old board policy and replace with updated Neola policies that this board has spent quite a few hours going over with our representative back there, Mr. Tom. And so this will be put out to the public for look over, and then, of course, for coming back to make it, vote on it for policy.
Motion?
All right, Ms. Mathis makes that motion.
Second.
All right, who seconded? Ms. Agner seconded. Do you have anything you'd like to say? You spent quite a few hours with us.
Here he comes. Mr. Tom.
Good evening, board members, superintendent. We're just really glad we've reached this point. It's taken the better part of a year
Mhm.
and a lot of work. I think it'll be a good product and everybody will be happy with it.
This will get us updated with all the laws and.
Well, there's a couple of updates now just come out, so there'll be some more further updates as we go forward.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you for everything, putting up with us and all that.
Okay. All right, motion's been made and seconded for this authorization to advertise. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Aye, so carried. All right, this brings us down to items of interest by the superintendent and the board. And Ms. Superintendent, what do you have?
just wanted to say that we are pleased to say we are winding down summer school. So, want to thank all the employees who chose to give up their month of June to serve our students, and know that we appreciate them very much and what they've done to make sure that our students who needed to have that extra remediation were able to do so. Now they can enjoy their summers. So, and with that, I also wanted to mention that, our football team and other sports teams are working very hard. We have our soccer teams and our football teams that are really out there and practicing and beefing up and doing all the things they need to do to get ready for the coming up seasons. They had a golf scramble fundraiser last Friday and did very well on that. I'm not sure what their final numbers were, but I know it was a big success. And I also wanted to clarify, the board asked last time that we feed the dogs like the other organizations are doing, and we had kind of gone between 7/24 and 7/25. Can we agree that July 25th would be the best day that we will do that? Okay. Just wanted to, and I've let them know that, and that's,
Do we have a time?
it'll be at,
It said 11:30 on the text.
yeah,
But maybe, you might need to be there at 11.
I can get that, I can
Okay.
put that in an email to
Who's
everyone.
going to be in charge of the menu and what do we need to do to help with that? Hey, I'm gang.
So
Bonnie
we can,
says make
we
a
can
pound
take it
cake.
out of our fund and we can have it catered, or we can, which would probably this,
How much does the hibachi fella cost that goes to Big Bend Technical? That would be a treat.
I don't know, but we
Would.
can ask Jody and
I've
find
got
out.
that number.
And
for
I'll
him.
ask them too, because sometimes when they're practicing, like if they ask for breakfast, they don't want something heavy. If they do it
Right.
afterwards,
This would
then
not
they
be
would.
heavy.
Yes, ma'am. So
Yeah.
I'll have to.
So we're
Yeah,
not
sure.
for sure what meal we're talking
No,
about.
I know that I'm doing one. I had already asked to do
Okay.
one a while back, and I'm doing breakfast one day.
Okay.
So, and he asked for very light things because it's breakfast, so he doesn't want them to get out there and, in this heat and
Mhm.
stuff, they would be
But ours
sick.
will be lunch.
I think so. I'll solidify that and,
I've
and
got
let
the
you all know.
guy's number, or we can get it from Jody, but
that would be a treat, I
Yeah,
think.
that would be awesome. I love that idea. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah, I do
The-
too.
Do you know the guy that comes to Big Bend Technical?
Yeah, it's really good.
He gets really
She
good
had him at one of
food,
the-
And it
he's-
would be different. Yeah, it
BBTC
would be
meetings.
different.
different than
So
everybody
I
been
love
to
that. I
pulled
love
pork
that.
sandwiches and all that they've been getting.
And I just want to thank Miss Bowen and Miss Curry for coming down and speaking to us about their concerns for their students that are moving on to the sixth grade. Just want to thank y'all for coming and sharing that information with us. Thank you.
Okay.
Do we know how soon we will be able to workshop that? I know you said you waited to hear back from DOE,
So
so,
pretty soon, probably
Okay.
the next board meeting.
okay.
Anything else?
When we hear back from the DOE, will that be a deciding factor of whether or not we go on with the workshop, or will we have it either way?
I think it would be best, since they've made this request, that we workshop it just so everyone
All the
is
information.
Clear on the details.
fully
Gotcha.
informed as to why or why not. You know, we put it in black and white and let everybody see, because,
I agree.
I think everybody needs
Yeah.
to
Okay,
see what's out there.
all right, thank you. Ms. Ball, do you have anything?
I do not, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Donnell.
I actually have something, but I did want to ask a quick question. It was a consent item, so it's something we have already voted and approved, but I just wanted to see if, since Dan was here, Dan can give us an update in regards to the football field. I noticed on here there was a, interest for a camp to be held, and I know last year there was a little concern in regards to outside district usage of the football field. Can you give us any type of update in regards to what's the status of the field and the use of it?
At this, about 16 months ago, we started talking about this. But, we had come off a football season where we played a game in an extreme rainstorm. And it just literally tore the field to pieces. And, did as much as we could right then to rectify that situation. There's only so much you can do. It's not in growing season, you're still playing games. So went ahead and played middle school and high school games on it, and kids continued to play on it, and it was, then soccer came right on top of that. Well, at the end of that portion of at the end of soccer season, and then we had girls football right after that, so the field didn't lose traffic till April. April, the field was nothing but a dust storm. There was no grass on the field.
Okay.
And so we were in a real emergency situation because we were not guaranteed the field would even grow back in time to have a football season that could be played on. That's why we that season only, that there was no traffic on that field. We canceled spring games. We canceled the preseason game. We limited all traffic and started growing the field back the best we could. Fertilization, and we were blessed that year because we got a lot of rain that really helped that field grow, and it really took off and did real well during the summer, but nobody got on it during the summer. And we were also blessed last year because the field was blessed, not we, but the field was blessed because there was no games because of the hurricanes. We didn't play for 3 or 4 games on the field. So at the end of the football season, there was very little wear and tear. Not only had it grown in very tight, better than I've ever seen it, but it didn't get much traffic on. So at the end of the season, it was still at like 70 or 80%. And then soccer and then the girls football, it was still at like 50 or 60%. In the previous year, we found about 10% grass. And so it's done really well and grown really, really well during this the last few months, even though we hadn't got water on, we've been really watching the watering, fertilizing aggressively, and it's pretty tight. They had a 7-on-7 game on it and had there on it, so it's doing much better now. And I believe that kids could, on it if they got back on it, what we were planning on doing, what they usually did to have the games on youth games. And we had no way of knowing last year whether we.
So the field that's behind the bleachers that were tearing down, the little kids used to mark it off and play flag football on and all that, is that still usable?
That's usable for practices, for youth practices, but it belongs to the city.
The city,
It belongs to the city.
yeah.
Okay.
So with our football field, being that, we are in Florida and we know weather can be unpredictable, I mean, is there any type of, research or any, planning that we're doing? So, okay. So we just still gonna continue to do what we're doing, and if we get unpredictable weather, we're gonna limit the field again?
We have a consultant who takes care of, who does, Florida State University field, so
Mhm.
we have the best people that I know that
Look at it.
consult with us, and we're definitely open to anything they say and any new idea. Doing the best we can.
Yeah, I hope we're, at some point we'll be able to see, what could we do in regards to making sure that wouldn't be another, occurrence, being that the weather in Florida is so unpredictable, because it seemed like our buildings and our just different facilities do get a lot of public requests. And I just never want it to be a situation where we're saying yes to one person and no to another one. So if there's something we can do to make sure that that's not something that will, potential become an issue, I just would like to make sure we're doing that. But in my rest of my comments, I just want to again say thank you to the different community support, the different community partners, and the different businesses that show support to the football program in regards to the event they had with the golf scramble. It seemed like they did get a lot of success. Again, continue. Thank you to the different members in the community that are stepping up and showing any of our programs any type of support or partnership. Because as Christy pointed out earlier, community is why we're here and what we do. So anytime we get any type of support or interest from the public, we do want to make sure we give it the necessary attention that we need to, and make sure that we're doing everything that we can do and doing our research and just, doing the homework. Because again, if we don't have community, we're not going to be here. So any way that we can grow and do what we need to do, we just want to make sure that first and foremost that it's sustainable, but we do want to give the attention, because that's why we have these meetings and that's why we're here for the community. And last but not least, I want to thank the voters of District 5, as well as those other community supporters that have trusted me to be in this position for another 4 years. I don't take that lightly. I really appreciate the community, and again, all those people that are in District 5, the voters, as well as those other people that continue to support my position. Me occupying this position and just being a part of the work we do here in our Taylor County Schools. I want to thank those other officials that were successful, those other candidates that are still on the campaign trail. And again, just, make sure we're doing everything we can, to continue to serve our community and do the work we do here in Taylor County. Again, thank you to my board members for your support. And it feels good to sit where Bonnie, Danny, and Brenda sat this last time. So it feels good. So thank you, guys.
You hanging on with that green bottle right there. All right, Miss Agner.
Congratulations, David,
Thank you.
and best of luck. Well, Jill's not here, is she? We have, and Miss Angela Ball, good luck to you as well. And we have another lady in our district, Miss Jill, that's running for superintendent from her county. So we have a lot of politics going on around here. But I just am so thankful to see the involvement that we've gotten in the community. And you know, everybody, the football program, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. It's children seeing that people care. Children seeing that they're expected a certain level from them. It's just so much bigger than just feeding the dogs. And, you know, like I said 1,000 times, I'm an avid sports fan for multiple reasons. It's not just to play the game. It's not for me just to holler at the TV. It's because once you're a bulldog, you're always a bulldog. And it carries you in a lot of directions. And Reggie sitting back there, he's one of the, you know, he's been around sports all his life. He understands the discipline, all the things that go into it. And it's just good for our kids. It's just good. And the more it's proven that they're involved in anything in school, clubs, sports, whatever, the dropout rate goes down. So with them, the kids seeing the community involved and caring that much about the work that they're doing in school, that's even going to give them more reason. And it's going to give our community, the businesses and all the people that come, see these kids on a daily basis. The ones that are feeding them are seeing them and saying, you know what, hey, why don't you come work for me when you graduate? Why don't you come see what we've got to offer at my business? So there's a lot of things that goes on, and y'all all know that. I don't need to sit here and go on about it. But thank you to all the administrators. Thank you, Diane and Christy, for showing us about the wall. And I know it look like a penitentiary, but I'll guarantee you by the time Casey gets through with it, it's going to be beautiful. And I'm just thankful that we're doing something to keep them safe. And other than that, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Mathis?
Yes. So, Carrie, Hannah, thank y'all for being here, and thank y'all for loving our kids and wanting to see this happen for them. And also, thank y'all for the Value Adjustment Board appointment.
Oh, you're
And
welcome.
Taking it from me.
And it's like the high school football team there's so much excitement around it right now. And I really think a lot of credit goes to Coach Braswell too for building that excitement and what he's done since he's been here. So I would like to applaud him for that.
Yes.
And I think that about does it for me. I don't have a lot tonight.
All right, well, thank you, Ms. Carlton.
Yes, I could go back and repeat everything, but I won't. I do want to thank our community partners. You know, we couldn't do it without them, but there's a lot of good things going on in our community, and I'm just so thankful for that. And Dan, Chrissy, again, thanks for the update on the wall. It's, you know, I'm sure we'll be doing more later to the other schools, but that for the middle school, it is a safety first. As Jim Barnage used to say, safety first, and then we learn. Safety first, then we learn. I'm just curious do we have an FTE count? Or do we have any idea what we're looking at for this year?
You know, you got to ask me before that.
I just know y'all probably have a feel. Are we looking at?
So the last time I checked, we're about, it was probably, I think it was 27. I can pull it up. I mean, I'd have to.
Not right now. I just was like I said, you know.
But the last count was, you know, sort of about.
Yeah, a lot of, you know.
We'll have another one after, I think it's is it June? We just had one in June.
We have a lot of, you know.
June 10th.
People are just, you know, kind of curious to whether or not we
Timmy, y'all
lost a
have one
lot
for
with.
Steve You got
with
any
George
idea,
Pacific.
number? What do you think? Tight.
Okay, but that was all.
Okay, well, thank you. Once again, appreciate each one coming and sharing whatever concerns they had and for the reports and all that has taken place this evening. And as we are once again aware that goodness gracious, June is near about gone. July is going to be here. Next thing you know, school's going to be starting. It just never ends. I mean, time just keeps clicking. So appreciate all the hard work. Still got a lot of work to do between now and time school starts back. And hopefully, a lot of things are going to happen. It's going to be good. It's going to be better for our schools and for our community to get some of this prayer work done during the summertime. I don't see how them guys can work up there as hot as it is. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We thank you all for coming. Do we have a motion and second that we adjourn?
Motion.
Deidre.
All right, Ms. Donnell makes that motion and Ms. Carlton seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? This meeting's adjourned.
I forgot to say congratulations, Lacey, again.